As part of a rebuild of this boat, I have to do a full rewire. And one thing that was confusing with me when I first started using these, and I know it confuses a lot of other people, are these little simple toggle switches. I'll show you a real easy way to wire them up. Now in Australia, especially for small boats, most people are buying these little 4-way switches, or you can get a 6-way switch. You can get them in various sizes, but the most common one for a little tinny is you just need a little 4-way switch. Just quickly take this off. It's just a few very small screws. You don't need to have these, but to be honest, I wouldn't wire up a boat without them. They're great. Now I only need 4 switches in these. My bigger boat has one which has got about 8 switches on it, I think. I'm not even using 1 or 2 of them. But once I take that out, you can see the back has got all these little waterproof fuse boxes here. So that gives me that bit of protection. And I just plug my positive terminal straight into there, and that gives me my switch. All my negative terminals go back to my bus bar. So it's a really, really easy system. So when it comes to wiring the lights, the positive wire for the light will come straight around to here, negative wire for the lights to the bus bar, same with the bilge pump. So the first time I ever wired this boat up, I installed a bus bar, and what these bus bars are, there's something that you can plug all your negative lines onto. So this sits right next to my battery, so that battery box is going to have a battery in it shortly, and the battery sits right here, and I've got one line coming off the bus bar onto the negative terminal of the battery, and everything else, my anchor lights, my sounder, all my other accessories, and I'm going to put a bilge pump in this as well, is just going to get connected straight to this bus bar. That way all my negatives are all in one spot and all nice and neat, and all my positive terminals, and they go straight into here. So I'll pull this out and we'll do a full rewire on the sounder and get this thing up and running. What I've actually got rigged up here is my battery, my head unit for the sounder, and just to show you how this works. Now, the power that's going to this sounder unit, which I've just got the power cord plugged in, not the transducer, has the negative going down to the bus bar, and this little clip here is my positive wire for the sounder. So that is plug that into where it says sounder, which is this top one here. I'll just plug that straight in there, and now that's plugged into this side here. So that's this power wire. So this power wire I'm just going to put straight into this battery, and if I sit that on my battery there, I'll just screw that down so it locks it in. So what I end up with is the negative terminal for my sounders on my bus bar. The positive terminal is clipped into my 4-way switch, or my switch unit. And now the power switch unit that's coming off the fuse is now wired up to the battery. Now the sounder won't turn on if I try to turn it on, because I need to flick my switch which says sounder, which is this one here. Now I flick that on. Now I try to turn my sounder on, and just give it a second, and it lights up and powers on. So look, don't be confused by them. You do have to run a separate negative wire. There's no negative wire going to the back of these, and that's why I highly recommend you put a bus bar in your boat. Just put it somewhere near the battery terminal. Then you just run a really short battery wire. I actually had one here that I just took off the battery that I use all the time for this one, and it just keeps it really, really simple. So everything positive goes to here, everything negative goes to the bus bar. Easy. And if I switch that off now, the sounder will just switch straight off. So to make it really easy, all I do with these switches is I wire the 2 wires together. So the 2 wires that are on fuses, wire them into a decent wire. It doesn't have to be too strong, but I keep it fairly thick, and run that straight to my positive terminal on my battery. And that way, everything I plug into this is just going to work off the switch, and every negative just runs to the bus bar. Now, I do highly recommend you put a bus bar in, because they're so easy and convenient, but you can run all your negative wires to your negative terminal of your battery and just have it that way. But if you've got 8 or 9 negative wires all coming into your negative terminal of your battery, I strongly recommend a bus bar because it's so much neater.